howdy. I'm coming today, or with this video, to try to explain certain things about ancient Hebrew, but primarily, more specifically, the sacred names. Um, for example, commonly people would say Yahweh or Jehovah, but let's see. But I'm going to reveal how those names are not correct and how I know they are not correct and why I believe they are what I believe they are. So, so first of all, this is right here is well in the middle right here between these brackets. I have the English equivalent of the Hebrew, and on the left side of them there is the modern Hebrew, and on the right side there is the what's called Paleo Hebrew, which is the Hebrew before that. And then there's also another Hebrew that's called Picto, but there's no way to put that on here. It's not in the Unicode or Uniform or whatever the computer language things are called that bind to the keys on the keyboard. I'll pay no attention to this. This is I installed some scripts on here to try and be able to type out in Hebrew. So, why is it? Oh, that's why. See, and if you hold Shift, it'll do. Oh, well, actually, it does have Picto, and I forgot about that. So, well. But anyways, this is me typing out the corresponding English letters in order to type out this in Hebrew, and I've just never got around to it, so just ignore all that. Anyways, sacred name for Yahuah, for Jehovah is Yahuah, and today is spelled like this, going from right to left. You have your Yod, it's so finicky on when you try to write in Hebrew on any program, but whether it's computer or on a phone. But I don't really like this particular style because it's very boxed, and it doesn't originally look that way. But and if anyone has seen my previous video, if anyone's even watching this one, I've pointed out how on this this particular version of scripture here, called the Aleph Tav CEPHER. It's Hebrew words, but this is just the English as way of writing it. CEPHER is a numbered scroll or book, and this Aleph Tav here, this is the A Aleph, and this is the T, the Tav. And in Hebrew, the T is actually the last letter, not the Z. As I've got down here, I have Tav is the last one. So, and what that basically means is it's the equivalent of the Greek and Hebrew Alpha and Omega. So it's the beginning to end, first to last, completely, stuff of that nature. Although most so-called experts of Hebrew either will say that it's unpronounceable, unknowable, or it'll mean like something else. Like I can't remember exactly what it is, but maybe like a something kind of like a the or some other sort of like conjunction type word. I don't know. I'm not an English professor, so I don't know all that stuff. I can write pretty good, but I have no idea like what pronouns and conjunctions and whatnot are. I just write by. I can just kind of feel it and see it of what it's supposed to look like. So, anyways, and this is a prayer that the app people wrote It's an English-sized version of the Hebrew letters, so it's not Hebrew, but it's just an English way of writing the pronunciation of Hebrew. That's called transliteration instead of translation. So it would be like Shema right here, Yasharel will be here now and do, Yasharel. Yahuah our Elohim is Yahuah Eloheinu. Basically, it means mighty one. If it has a capital E in English, it's referring to the Father, and if it's got a lowercase e, it's referring to an angel, whether it be Yahuah's angel or a fallen angel, or also it could also be a wooden or a metal idol. But those are the most fakest of all Elohim because they're not real whatsoever. At least the angels are real, um, but you're still, there's only one who's good and one who's the creator and one who can do anything and everything he wants. And thankfully for us, he wants peace and love, so he's not. You know, that's why we're still here in our wickedness. Anyways, moving on. So that's what that means. It's the Aleph and the Tav. Now, this is the English version transliteration of Yahuah, but it is actually the Yod, the Hay, the Vav, and the Hay again. Alright, it doesn't have, you'll notice it's YHWH, it doesn't have any vowels because Hebrew doesn't typically include vowels in their writing. There are some exceptions, but typically they don't. So it's kind of up to. I've had someone explain it to me, like, and I don't know if it's necessarily true or not, but someone explained to me that basically it's like a dialect thing, and it could be any sort of. It doesn't have to be specific. Like it could be Yahuah or it could be you. I don't know, but I think it's Yahuah, and I think it should probably go in. It would make logical sense to go in order of from A down instead of starting with O. So like instead of Elohim, it would be like Alahim. Instead of the E and the O, it would be A and A. Alahim. Well, I mean over here Alahim or Alahainu, which is our mighty one. And that's just mighty one. That's actually pluralized, by the way. It still is plural when it refers to the one creator. I can't say exactly why that is, but I do find that very interesting um, account in the Apocrypha Secret Book of John that might explain why that is for anybody that wants to check that out. But I'm not going to go over it because I don't know for sure if it's true or not. Although I tend to believe it. I'm not 100% sure. So you got your Yod Hey Vav Hey. Now what's interesting here is this is the Messiah's original name. His name is Yahusha. And the very first three letters here are the same as the very first three letters here. And that is because he literally came in his father's name. It means Yah or Yahu saves. And I'll show that in a minute. I'm not sure if I was going to go over all these scriptures here, but I'll let you can read it if you'd like. Yeah, I'm going to keep it short. I'll just let you pause it and read it. So, and right here I'll talk about how Joshua is the same name in Hebrew, spelled the exact same way as Jesus in Greek is. So, and the actual name of the Messiah, the closest in English would actually be Joshua and not Jesus. And I'm actually going to come talk about that now. So, let's see, in the beginning, This is in Greek. This is how they pronounce their version of Jesus.
Iyshiy.
Remember, pay attention to the sus part here.
Iyshiy.
Now this is in Latin. Again, pay attention to the sus here.
Iesус. Iesус.
Does that sound like
Iesус.
possibly a Greek deity? Well, I don't know, because when you look up the name Zeus on here, it's said completely different. So I don't know for sure, but I do know that his name is not correct anyways, and so I just don't use it. But I do say it on occasion because that's what everybody knows him as. If I call him Joshua, they're not going to know that I'm talking about the Messiah. So there we go. Iyshiy in Greek is Jesus or Joshua, name of the Messiah, according to Strong's Concordance. And in here, they say it's Yahusha. I say Yahusha, but some people say it's Yahushua. I don't know which one is the correct way, but I know it's one of those two. And it means the Lord is salvation, according to Strong's Concordance. And there's Yahushua. Phonetic spelling, and of course transliteration, they spell it a little bit differently than I do. And it comes from, of course, Yahuah, which is the name of the mighty one of Israel, and Yahusha, which means to deliver. It means Yahuah delivers. So now that I've explained the names of the Father and the Son, now I'm going to explain to you where the deception, where even more deception lies, because here we go, right here. Isaiah 65:11. But you are they that forsake Yahuah, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for God, and that furnish the drink offering unto Meniy. The name God there, well, that's in Strong's Concordance. Let's see what it says. There we go. It means fortune, good fortune, and according to the Strong's Concordance, and it comes from good, whatever, to invade or to attack. So I'm not sure exactly how that is necessarily connected, but basically this is the, I think, Phoenician deity of fortune. And if you're familiar enough with the, I guess, geography and history of the era, the Phoenicians and the Hebrews were very, very similar as far as people and a language goes. They had ancient Phoenician is very, very, very similar to ancient Hebrew, almost indistinguishable as far as I can tell. I'm sure maybe they could have told back then, but I definitely find it difficult. I mean, I can tell, but it's very marginally. So this is from the American Oriental Society, which is apparently associated with Yale University, and is the site of, I guess, the Yale University library. And it says it is one of the oldest learned societies in America, one of the oldest educationals, and it was chartered on September 7th, 1842, excuse me. And they put out an article, and it talks about the cult of the god Gad in ancient Israel and Judah. And I would like to read the whole thing, but I don't know guess I'd have to like make an account or something. I don't know how, if I even can. Um, but it goes into it here. It said that eventually the concept of God was generalized and came to be used as a title for patron deities of cities, tribes, and localities in the Greco-Roman Near East. I didn't know Greco was spelled with an A and before the E. And it says, so who was the god Gad, and why was he worshipped? It's hard to say, but the existence of a god named Gad has long been recognized. But anyways, this is Phoenician deity here. And so Hosea 2:16 here also speaks a little bit, not necessarily to the specific name of anything, but it says, and in that, excuse me, and it shall be at that day, says Yahuah, that you shall call me Iyshiy, which is husband, and shall call me no more Ba'uli, which is my Lord. For I will take away the names of Ba'ulim, or the Lords, out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And so we can go here and we can see where Iyshiy right here is my husband, or husbandry. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a wife to a husband, because if you look at the history of husband, or the etymology of it, it actually is, it can be a farmer, tiller of the soil, head of a family, it can be a head of a flock, or excuse me, a herdsman, management of a household, farm management. And so I can't remember exactly where it says it in scripture, but it does say that if either two or more or three or more witnesses come forth, then that to the testify towards to the witness of a set of scripture or a truth or whatever, then that thing will be true. I'd like to find it, but it might take me a while. I'm trying to keep this video short. I don't know why I have that one, but oh, maybe it was for this. Adonai here is also another word for Lord. Although I think that's more of an Englishized way of saying it. I think it's more like Sir or something. But Adonai seems to be the respectful version of my Lord, and Baal or Baul, or however it's supposed to be pronounced, is used typically in a negative or at least a neutral way. For example, you'll have certain kings whose name is starts with Baal, or and you also have the Baals above, which is the Lord of the Flies. I don't think that's necessarily a real entity, but it could be. I don't know. If it was, then hopefully I didn't just commit a sin there. But hopefully the Father He'll understand and forgive me for doing so, because I'm trying to teach why you're not supposed to say it, and it's kind of hard not to say it when you're trying to teach it. But I actually didn't notice this before, but according to Strong's Concordance, that Baal is a heathen god, and it's a Phoenician deity. But the Strong's Concordance is a really good resource, but it's not perfect. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was made in like the 1800s, before the, what was it, the Rosetta Stone, I think it was, that was found, that basically allowed us to compare notes to what we thought of Hebrew versus what was actually written on it. I might be getting it mixed up though. But so that's just about it. Not sure why I have this up here. I think I was going to do this for another video, but since I already have it up here, I'll just explain that the original 1611 King James Version included, I thought it was only 4, but it actually included way more than 4 apocrypha. All these are apocrypha here. And, well, I probably have to do another video on it because there's a lot of deceptions, but basically, as I wrote in my note over here, the scripture is far older than the Bible. The Bible is the doctrine of a Roman Catholicism, the Romans who killed the Messiah and hijacked his movement there, his purpose, um, and I believe is the reason why the Messiah told um, Peter that he would be taken in a direction he didn't want to go. But I don't know that for sure. But I talk about how the Bible is missing books and chapters, and this was a comment I made to somebody else. So, who do you really glorify with your lips? Make sure it's not a Phoenician deity of fortune. No. It's not with the O. I mean the A, so maybe the O will work. I'll probably end up deleting this then. Of fortune. There we go. Another deity that might be related to fortune is a god who is mentioned in the Bible as a deity worshipped by some Hebrews during the Babylonian captivity. Of course, this is AI generated, so. So, I guess I'll end the video here. I'm not gonna sit here and research and make the video any longer. So, have a blessed day. And thank you for watching.